You ever wonder how your smartwatch or your earbuds can respond instantly, even when they're not connected to the internet? Well, the secret is this really special kind of chip. You can think of it like a shapeshifter that's putting a surprisingly powerful AI brain into our smallest, most everyday devices. So let's dive into how that's even possible.
Okay, so here's the big question, right? We want our tiniest gadgets to be incredibly smart, making decisions in the blink of an eye, right there on the device. But how in the world do you cram an AI, which usually needs massive data centers to run, onto a little tiny chip that's the size of a coin? That is the puzzle we're going to solve today. And this gets to the heart of the problem. We are literally surrounded by an explosion of smart devices, right? But sending every little piece of data to the cloud to get analyzed, well, it's slow, it costs money, and a lot of the time it's just not practical. The future really demands that this intelligence lives right on the device itself. Now this brings us to the absolutely wild constraints of what's called TinyML, or tiny machine learning. We're talking about running pretty complex AI on little microcontrollers that have less than a single megabyte of memory. And they have to do it all while just sipping power from a tiny battery. You know, your standard chips, they just aren't built for this kind of challenge.
So, what's the answer? Well, funny enough, it's not some brand new, flashy invention. The solution is actually a brilliant idea that's been kicking around for decades, and it just so happens to be perfectly suited to solve this very, very modern problem.
Let's break this down. So on one hand, you've got your standard fixed chip, an ASIC. Think of it like a specialist. It's custom built to do one thing, and it does that one thing perfectly and efficiently. But on the other hand, you have a reconfigurable chip, an FPGA. This is our shapeshifter. It can literally rewire its own internal circuits on the fly to become the exact chip you need for any given task. This flexibility, it's a total game changer. You go from hardware that's set in stone to hardware that can become whatever you need it to be whenever you need it.
And this idea has such a cool history. It actually started way back in 1960 as a concept from a guy named Gerald Estrin, who was thinking about adaptable hardware. But it took until the mid-80s for companies like Altera and Xilinx to actually bring the first commercial FPGAs to the market. And then, by the 90s, these chips were powerful enough to build an entire computer around. So this tech has been maturing for over 60 years, kind of just waiting in the wings for its moment to shine. And that moment is right now. Let's take a look at how this exact technology is solving that tiny AI challenge we talked about, and why it's becoming the hero for modern devices that operate at the edge, away from the big central cloud.
So why are these chips the perfect tool for the job? It really boils down to three key things. First up, latency. Because all the processing happens right on the device, you get real-time responses. No waiting for a signal to go to a data center and back. Second, power. They run on milliwatts of energy, which is just perfect for things that run on batteries. And third, and this is huge, flexibility. You can completely update the AI model on the device without ever having to touch the hardware.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it's the tech that lets your fitness tracker constantly monitor your vital signs. It's how a sensor on a factory floor can predict that a machine is about to fail before it actually breaks. It's the magic behind your smart speaker instantly waking up when you say its name. And it's even being used to optimize solar panels in real time, squeezing out every last drop of energy.
And get this. This quote really shows you the sheer power of this approach. 1,000 times more energy efficient. That is just incredible. By reconfiguring only the little piece of the chip that's needed for a specific task at that exact moment, the energy savings are absolutely massive. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a revolutionary leap for tiny devices.
So this technology is already changing our world as we speak. But honestly, we're just getting started. Let's look ahead at what's coming next for this amazing shape-shifting hardware.
The scale of this whole shift is just staggering. By 2030, analysts are predicting there will be 2.5 billion devices powered by TinyML. That's billions, with a B, of intelligent sensors and gadgets all made possible by these reconfigurable chips. This is not some niche market. This is the next massive wave of computing.
And the next big leap is something called reformable TinyML. Think of it this way. Today's devices, they just run a static AI program, right? The devices of tomorrow will be able to learn and evolve. They won't just run an AI model, they'll update it, improve it all on their own, right there on the chip. They'll become truly autonomous. And this little roadmap here kind of shows us the path forward. So in the near term, we're going to see this on-device learning become common. A little further out, we'll start to see these hybrid chips that mix reconfigurable logic with neuromorphic designs, chips that are actually structured kind of like the human brain. And way down the line, maybe by 2050, we might even see this tech start to integrate with quantum computing.
So what's the end game in all of this?
What's the ultimate goal? It's truly autonomic AI. I want you to imagine a device that can run for years on a single coin cell battery. A device that understands your gestures, learns your habits, and adapts to its environment, all without ever needing to phone home to the cloud.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question. You see, for decades, we've designed our software to fit the limitations of our hardware. But what happens if our hardware can now reshape itself to perfectly fit any problem? What new frontiers does that unlock? What impossible challenges can we finally solve? The possibilities are, well, they're pretty much endless.